Good morning. This is Patrick Lee, and it's time for Midweek Motivation Live. Give people just a second to tune in here. People are already starting to watch in on the show, already tuning in, already getting viewers. Love that. We'll be back right after this. We're going to be talking about accountability in your life and why is that important. And we're back. Midweek Motivation Live here with Patrick Lee. Midweek Motivation Live show now coming to you on all major podcast platforms. This is being streamed live each and every week through StreamYard, a great streaming service, through StreamYard, live to Instagram live to Facebook and LinkedIn, uploaded after the effect to YouTube and then to all major podcasting platforms as well. Glad to see everyone watching the show this morning. We're going to talk about accountability, my accountability to you and your accountability to those around about you. I'm sporting some new PLG Group swag today, new caps that we just got in. Someone could win one of these today. These are pretty sweet, nice gray snapback trucker hats. Like, love, share the show with your friends and family, and someone could end up winning some new PLG swag today. Giving away books lately. I've been giving away some books. Just gave away The Power of One More, Ed Mylett's latest, greatest bestseller. I'm going to be talking to you out of a book today that was just referred to me and loaned to me from a friend, and I'm going to buy about a dozen copies of this book. I'm going to talk to you about one effect out of this book today that is our topic on accountability, and I'll share that with you here in just a minute. This book was just loaned to me from a friend. We've shared a couple of books back and forth, and we're both on the path to self-help, self-awareness, and doing better in life, and those are good friends to have. I've told you many times on the show that your top 5 people, the people that you hang around with, you will end up becoming a combination of those people. Maybe an average, maybe the high average, maybe not the high average, maybe the low average, but you'll become an average of the top 5 people that you hang around with. And so I've been reading, doing self-help and self-improvement and growth for years and years, and some of my friends are as well. And one of my friends, Cody, loaned me this book when he finished. This book today is called The Tribe of Millionaires. Of course, it's backwards on the screen. Tribe of Millionaires. The authors are David Osborne and Pat Hibbon, with Mike McCarthy, Tim Rode. Forward by Hal Elrod, the author of The Miracle Morning, and then co-author of many other Miracle Morning books, including A Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents. Co-written with Jake Hinder and Michael Reese. Leadership in My Honey Badger Nation here at EXP Realty as well. Top best-selling authors in my line of work, and then other best-selling authors in theirs. And this book was a New York Times bestseller. Just came out, I believe, the beginning. No, it was just written 2 years ago. Still fairly new, and love this book. And this one I started to read about a month ago, and I sat it down. I read something else. It got busy, and I came back and picked this up this past Sunday, just 3 days ago, and got into it and couldn't put it down. Went to church, got back from church that evening. I picked it back up and stayed up all night until I finished this book. It wasn't all night, but way into the wee hours of the morning, and finished the book. It became very compelling to me that I needed to finish this book. And when that happens, when you're reading a book, sometimes maybe you struggle with reading a book. Maybe you struggle with reading, period. I still highly recommend you try. If you aren't a great reader, start downloading books on Kindle or Audible, and download a streaming service where you can have the books read. You can listen to a book. Many people do that. I also have books. I downloaded 2 books last week. that I'm fixing to get into next. I'll be listening to them on Audible. You can buy them through Amazon, but I highly recommend that you continue reading and growing. This book, The Tribe of Millionaires, is a New York Times bestseller. What if one choice could change everything? And we're going to be talking about one of the effects in the book. It goes into multiple effects, different things to help people grow in this particular story. And the one we're going to talk about today is the accountability effect. Like, love, and share the show, and you could win a copy of this book. I'll be giving this one back to my buddy today, and I'll be ordering probably 10 or 12 copies of this book that we will be sending out to people in the future. I highly recommend this book. I just believe it changed my life. Many people say that it changed my life, and they just say that sort of tongue in cheek to sound good. But I believe this one truly did. If it reawakened a fire within me to do better, it reawakened an effort or a desire in me to be more accountable to myself and to those around about me, people that I work with, like, and love. And that's what we're all about here, motivating you to success in every area of life. And it's motivated me. I hope it'll motivate you as well. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the accountability effect. Responsibility to others, I believe, is the world's most powerful force. How many of you have an accountability partner? You can raise your hand. You can leave a comment here below on Facebook, on social media, LinkedIn. You can actually comment on this during the show. I can't comment back live based on the way the streaming service works, but I will definitely put those comments, good comments, I throw them up on the screen while we are live. And it also shows up in the recording, and I can respond to you live as well. So how many of you have an accountability partner, someone that you have talked to in the past and said, hey, man, I battle or I struggle in this area. Whenever I'm having a problem in this area, can I call you? Can I send you a text or a message and just reach out to you and say, hey, man, I'm having trouble in this area. Can you help me? Can you talk some sense into me, talk me off of the ledge? I'm thinking about buying those new shoes. I'm thinking about buying that new truck. I'm thinking about buying that new gun. And I know I don't have the money in the bank. Can you talk me off of that ledge? Because I'm fixing to go out and spend some money. Some of you, it's a Target shopping trip. It's like, hey, girl, I'm fixing to go to Target. I need you to talk me off the ledge. I'm fixing to go blow my whole paycheck on Target. And your girlfriend might say, hey, wait for me. I'm coming with you. You know what I mean? But if that person is a good accountability partner, they're going to tell you, hey, you have responsibilities. You have things that money needs to go to. And with us men, it's the same way. We want to go out and buy the new gun, the new hunting bow, the new truck, the new tires, whatever it is. But we have responsibilities that we need to be accountable to, right? So we have an accountability partner, that person that can speak to us and say, hey, calm down there, big boy. You need to come down off of that ledge. You need to not take those steps you're thinking about taking. I've had people reach out to me recently and say, hey, I'm battling things in this area. Can you be my accountability partner? And I'm like, I need an accountability partner to be your accountability partner, but yes, because there are going to be days that I am not as accountable as I need to be as well. But I will do my best to reach out to those people, to try to reach into their life and ask them how they're doing. Hey, are you holding yourself accountable to the things we talked about? Maybe it's drinking. Maybe it's an online problem. Maybe it's a gambling issue. Maybe it could be anything. Your mind tells you where you have weaknesses, right? Just like mine does. I'm not going to call out all of your weaknesses on the screen, but I'm just going to ask you to search your heart and say, hey, maybe I have a weakness in this area. And in the book here, in The Tribe of Millionaires, this person owns a business, and his business is not able to get off the ground. He can't pay his bills, and he ends up meeting this group of guys that end up having an immense effect on his life. And one of the effects that he ends up learning through this group is the effect of accountability. Most of us are not held accountable to the things that truly matter most, and that's a problem in America and around the world. You can admit it to yourself if you have a problem, and family members and friends that have problems, and they do not have an accountability partner, a person to help them. Accountability, however, is wired into us by evolution. We just have to learn to activate it. What does that mean, Patrick? Our accountability is wired into us through evolution. Well, I'm not an evolutionist, I'm a creationist, but there are certain things that happen in creation that have caused certain civilizations to thrive and certain civilizations to go away, right? We have all heard of many civilizations that don't exist anymore. The Aztecs, the Mayans, possibly Atlantis. Ding, ding, ding. There went your signal. Patrick Lee's a kook. But there are numerous civilizations that are no longer here. We have records of them. We have fossils. Good morning, Marlene. Thanks for watching the show. But they've disappeared. They don't exist anymore, but we have records that were here and what happened to them. But this evolutionary process from the creationary process where man was created by God, these civilizations have learned how to be accountable to each other in order to survive. Way back in these civilizations, some civilizations learned how to create rules and laws. They learned how to create the power of synergy when people work together, whether it's hunting an elephant or a lion or a tiger or a deer, a moose, an elk. When it was hunting back in those days, they found out that one person may not be able to hunt or procure that animal for dinner for the tribe, but if they went out and worked together and the guys learned how to communicate, hey, you go head off the buffalo in the front and you direct them towards me and Jose over here, we're going to turn around and he's going to shoot him one way and I'm going to shoot him the other way and we're going to kill us a buffalo, right? That's what accountability is. And they've learned that if the person up front was slacking off and they didn't go and scare the buffalo into the hunter's path, then no one ate and the tribe went hungry. And one animal, to some tribes, Indians, I'm part American Indian, this could end up wiping out a tribe. If it's the beginning of winter, you're fixing to head into winter and you don't have anything to eat, that whole tribe could perish in a cold winter. So the law, the effective accountability became very important. If your tribe happened to be a tribe of shipbuilders, and one of the guys building the ship was responsible for pitching the inside of the big ship that maybe your warriors were going to go out on, and they didn't do their job right, or no one checked in on them, and they were not accountable, and you got out into the ocean and your ship sank, your civilization may have ended. You lost the war, you lost the battle, you lost the product. So this goes back to where when this book talks about this being wired into us, accountability is wired into us for success. I truly believe that, not that it's an evolutionary process, but it sort of is. It's how we have evolved as a people. I'm not talking about evolving from a monkey to a human. I don't believe in that at all. And I don't believe that a fish wandered out of the sea and grew legs one day and learned how to become a man. I don't believe that either. But I do believe that we have learned from the things that have happened in the past. We have learned that accountability to our fellow man, to our fellow woman, fellow sister, those are the things that cause us to thrive and succeed moving forward. The right group can't do the work for you, but they help you by holding you accountable to yourself. And in this book, they actually had an accountability exercise. And I need to restart the camera. Looks like the camera moved a little bit here. What's going on? Hold on just a minute. It looks like we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty here. We'll just change cameras. Boom. And we're back. Not a problem. We just had a camera go out on us. And luckily we know how to, we're nimble. We're still going here. So we just switched cameras to camera number 2 and we'll go ahead and continue streaming from that one. So people have learned that through this exercise that they talk about here in the book, Tribe of Millionaires, to do a sheet on yourself. It's an accountability sheet. And I've talked to you about solving problems in the past multiple times. And one of the best ways I've learned to do that is to get a piece of notebook paper and write a line down the middle, write the disadvantages on one side, the advantages on the other. We've shared that many times, and it helps you by seeing all of these things written down. It helps you identify areas for improvement and how you can do things better, right? Well, this one sheet that they talk about in the book, incredible process, asks you questions about every area of your life. And that's one of the things the show talks to you about, how to motivate you to success in every area of life. So I would recommend that if you're wanting to grow, if you're wanting to do better, that you learn how to be accountable to yourself, and then that you get an accountability partner. And with this particular sheet, and there will be, I'll put a link to some place where you can download that sheet. There's actually a link in here, and I'm going to download one as well and work on this myself. Haven't got to it yet. Just finished the book. Thought it was important enough to bring it to you here today. But I'll put that link in the comments below the video here. Whenever I'm done with this recording, it will be available here. And you can download this one. It has all of the forms that you can fill in that way, and it's much more complete. But in the meantime, if that's not something that you want to do, you can simply do this on a piece of paper and get a notebook or a big piece of paper, a legal pad, and start writing down headings of every area in your life where you feel like you need accountability. It could be with the internet problem. Maybe you spend too much time on the internet and you're searching for things and becoming involved in things that you shouldn't be watching or seeing. Perhaps it's an alcohol problem and you drink too much and you need to get that under control. Perhaps it's an anger issue. But you can go down this and start putting down lines, financial things that where you're lacking in your finances or goals that you need to achieve, and start writing down all of the things in your life that pertain to success and happiness. Weight, diet, exercise, temperament, becoming better at seeking accountability partners, and being brutally honest with who you are. How much weight do you want to lose? How do you feel about how much weight you want to lose? Am I 40 pounds overweight? Am I 100 pounds overweight? Maybe I just need to tone up and hit the gym again. But what is it that you feel about that? What kind of emotion do you feel about that? What is it about the extra weight that you have that causes you to feel like less of a person? Write that down on the paper. And then when you're done with that, I think that you should have 50 or 60 things on there. Different areas of your life, relationships, family, friends, your children, your spouse. How can you be a better spouse to your husband or wife? How can you better? Define the things, write down the things that you feel are holding you back. And what are those emotions where you feel like a failure? And then also write down some of your successes. I feel like I'm really doing good in this area. You know what? I quit drinking. I've told all of my friends I quit drinking. Don't offer me alcohol anymore. Hold me accountable to my decision to not drink, because I made a personal decision internally not to drink anymore, or not to spend so much time on TV or on the internet or going to places I shouldn't go. Hold me accountable to that. But where you're having a win in life, write down those wins, those successes. I'm doing better in this area. And then when you're done with that, I want you to write down a list of about 5 names of the people that are closest to you that you think might become a good accountability partner for you. And start reaching out to those people, the person closest to you first, and say, hey, I'm really interested. I've been learning about this accountability thing, and I'm feel like I'm failing in a couple of areas. Can I count on you to be an accountability partner for me? Can I call you when I'm feeling weak and say, hey, I'm having an issue and I need help now. Can you talk to me? Can you come see me or speak with me? Can you talk me down off the ledge? And it could be as simple as the shopping spree. I'm telling you, some people get their paycheck and they can't wait to go spend all the money they have, and they don't pay their bills. Now, listen, bankruptcy is a real thing, okay? It happens to really good people. It happens. You could go bankrupt because you have a habit of spending all of your money before you pay your bills. I'm married to someone who is a debt collector for a local bank, largest national privately held bank in America and possibly the world. Been around 130 years, and you would be amazed at the crew of people they have that make 80 to 100 phone calls a day calling people to remind them to make their payments on their new vehicles that they purchased 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months ago and they haven't made any payments on. Incredibly irresponsible. And they have to call them and threaten them to come and take that vehicle if they won't make a payment. And they're like, I've got other things I've got to do. I've spent that money on something else and I can't pay you. It's like, well, then you can't keep your brand new Ford pickup. You can't keep that brand new Corvette or that Camaro or that Mustang because you have deemed going out to the club or buying fancy clothes or buying jewelry to impress your girlfriends that's more important to you than making your car payment or your truck payment. What in that world how does that not compute to you that those major purchases are important? So it may be a shopping issue. It may be that you're hooked on buying guns and you've got 22 and you think you need 32. So you need someone accountable to you that can say, hey, buddy, you know what, Bubba, you've got 22 guns. That's enough, man. You know what I mean? Pay your bills. Write down that list of people who can be accountability partners for you and start calling them. And you will find you have some friends that are good friends, but they're just not up to that. And that's okay. But keep going through your list of people until you come across people that you know and trust who are not going to go blab your information or deceive your trust and share your weaknesses with other people, but they will actually say, hey, man, I love you. I'd be happy to help you. And then hold them to that because that's accountability to them as well. If you have said you would be an accountability partner for that person, they should have the right to come back to you and say, hey, man, I really had a weakness this week and I thought about calling you. I sure wish you would have called me and just asked me how I was doing, and I probably would have done better. Does that make sense? So accountability does work both ways. But this is an incredible effect. The right group can't do the work for you, but they help by holding you accountable to yourself. Maybe you have a problem just showing up on time. I'm raising my hand. And I call it realtor time. And realtors have this weakness as a whole. We and maybe your industry does too, insurance agents, a lot of different people, because you're self-employed and you have multiple appointments. And many times, my wife calls it, flying with your hair on fire. You're just going in so many directions. You're being pulled into so many different things that it's hard for you to end one conversation because you need to be on the other side of town in 5 minutes, but you can't leave the appointment you're at. So you can consistently become late. And many of you know when you watch the show that I love Fire Slice Pizzeria, my friends Cody and Gina that own it, and I'll go there on Wednesdays, usually after the show, once the show is up and uploaded. And we call it in the can. Everything is done. It's generally about lunchtime, and I'll head over to Fire Slice Pizza. And when I'm late, they just count it as regular for me. They know when I get there, it's not going to be 12 o'clock. It's probably going to be 12:15. If I've told them I'm going to be there at 12:30, probably going to be 12:40. And it's a big joke. They laugh about it, but it's not a laughing matter. I mean, it kind of is, because it doesn't matter what time I get to the restaurant, as long as I get there and we hang out, because that's part of my relationship. But it's an area that I struggle in sometimes because, we can call it realtor time all day long, but there are some clients and friends and customers that are very particular, especially ex-military. And if you're a couple of minutes late, they're like, hey, you're late. I'm that way with listing appointments. And I learned in the very beginning, when I have a listing appointment to potentially go out and list a house, I need to be at that appointment on time. That's a very important appointment. There are some appointments that are non-negotiables, and you need to focus on those because those are non-negotiables. I've never lost a listing because I was late, but I potentially could have. So I just don't show up late regularly to listing appointments. If I have a buyer appointment and someone wants to come and meet with me to hire me to help them buy a home, frequently they are late. It just is what it is. They are late, and I'm used to that. So I have a lot of grace for people that show up late. And we try to fit our schedule around theirs to be as accommodating as possible. So we have a lot of grace for that as well. And because that's the nature of my business, I have grace for other people when they show up late. But there are some things that are non-negotiable. And if you have an appointment, want to have a listing appointment, they'll generally answer the door, and it's 1 or 2 minutes till our appointed time, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I'm Patrick Lee. We had an appointment for 2 o'clock, and here it is, 2 o'clock. Can I come in? And they appreciate that, the punctuality. And if you have a problem in that area, you need someone to start holding you accountable to being on time. I hope this is helping you today. Raise your hand, like, love, and share the show. Send me another comment and let me know that this is helping you. But it is important. It's important to me. I think that it's important to you. It's a great concept to learn from this book, The Tribe of Millionaires. Share the show with family and friends and let me know that it's shared. I can usually go online and find out who has shared the show. Thank you. Last show, we had multiple people that shared the show as well. But this is important. Fill out that piece of paper. Put down a complete accounting of your life, areas where you're weak, areas where you're strong, a list of people that you can call to hold you accountable, and start practicing this and see if it doesn't help bring you to more success in life. And that's what we're here for. Hey, everybody, this is Patrick Lee, your host. I do this as a free service to you each and every week. If you would like to help me, you can do that through my business, which is real estate. If you know anyone interested in buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate, click the link in the comments below this video to www.patricklee.work. That is my digital business card created by Nick Krim and Michael Kay at Content Card, CONTENT CARDZ.com. Content Cards with the Z. Started to lose my train of thought there for a moment. They can create you a digital business card as well if you're in the real estate space. But yeah, reach out to me, get an appointment in my calendar. I love to talk to you about buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate. That's what we do. I help you. You can help me. That's relationship. I love it that you come back and watch the show each and every week. Until next week, this has been Patrick Lee saying, courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. You guys have a great week. Until I see you next, bye-bye.